This training video is designed to show you how to configure the Wyse Management Suite for management of Wyse Teradici-based Zero clients. Many of the steps in this video are specific to the management of the Wyse Teradici-based Zero clients and are not applicable for management of the Wyse Thin OS, Wyse Thin Linux, or Windows IoT clients. However, if you do have a Wyse Teradici client, this video may be a good resource for you as it covers installing the Wyse Management Suite on Prem, getting an evaluation of the Wyse Management Suite Professional and installing the license, configuring DNS entries to enable communication with the EM SDK server for management of the Wyse Zero clients with the Wyse Management Suite, and setting up simple profiles to configure the Wyse Zero client for connection to a Horizon View environment. Now let's cover the requirements for management of Wyse Teradici-based Zero clients with the Wyse Management Suite. The first requirement is Wyse Management Suite 1.3 or greater. It must be the professional version. We do not support management of these devices with the standard version. It must also be the private cloud version, meaning you need to install Wyse Management Suite on-prem. You cannot manage Teradici-based Zero clients with the public cloud offering. The supported platforms are the Wyse 5030, which is a product that was originally released named the P25, the Wyse 5050, which is the 24-inch all-in-one based Teradici client, and the Wyse 7030, which is the quad head unit, originally called the P45. You must be running Teradici firmware version 5X or 6X. You must have a EM SDK server. This will be covered during the install. This is actually part of the install if you want during the installation of Wyse Management Suite 1.3. And then the Teradici endpoints must be configured to connect to the SDK server. You can use DNS entries or DHCP options. For the demonstration, we're going to use DNS entries. Now let's start the installation of the Wyse Management Suite. You can see that I've downloaded the 1.3 installer package. So go ahead and run that. I'm just using a Windows 2016 generic server, domain joined with a domain administrator to do the installation. So I'll get to the welcome screen. I do get a message that it's detected IE enhanced security is configured. Don't worry about that. You'll see I have the option to turn that off. This is an important step when managing Teradici clients. Make sure that you select the EM SDK option. Then go ahead and we will install a Maria database, so make sure to give a password here. We're just going to use the embedded Maria DB. Go ahead and click on Next. You can see that the ports are there by default. We'll leave those the defaults. And then now we're going to actually create an administrator. This part is important that you remember the email address and the password you use, because that's what you will be actually logging into the Wyse Management Suite with. You'll use this email address and password. So do not forget that. And then we'll go ahead and click on Next. This is something specific for the Teradici EM SDK server. I am required to either use an existing user or create a new CIFS user. So in this case, I'm just going to create CIFS user as a local user. You'll see it doesn't have administrative privileges, but it's local to the box and required for the EM SDK server. Go ahead and click on that and create that, and then click on Next. Now I'm going to take the defaults for the destination folder where we're going to actually be installing Wyse Management Suite and the software repository. Once we've made all of those decisions, we'll go ahead and click on Next and start the install. The install should take maybe 3 to 4 minutes and would go through here, and then you'll see in this case it's done. And now we're going to click on Launch WMS. So we're going to launch the console. And as I mentioned before, now we need to log in with the user, the email address, and password that we set during the installation. Let's go ahead and maximize this so we can see it a little better. And go ahead and sign in. So now the first time I get this Welcome to the Wyse Management Suite screen, and I need to go ahead and do a few steps. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to select Pro. That's an important step. When I'm managing the Teradici-based Zero clients, I need to use a professional version. So I'll show you how to get an evaluation license. I assume that most people watching this video are just going to be testing out Wyse Management Suite. So if you go to wysemanagementsuite.com and then click on Learn More, that'll bring you up to a screen that has some of the differences between the different versions or editions. We'll click on Start Free Trial and then enter your information in here and click on Start Free Trial, and now you'll see Welcome to your free 45-day account. Now sign on to the console, and now I'm actually signing into the cloud version of the Wyse Management Suite. You look in the URL, you see I'm going to us1wysemanagementsuite.com, and I'm using the credentials. So I'm actually logging into the public cloud. The only reason for this demonstration I'm logging into the public cloud version is because I got a 45-day evaluation, and I do want to export that license. So go ahead and accept the terms and conditions and log in here. And now I need to, once I'm in the Wyse Management Suite public cloud offering, I can go into Portal Administration, and then under Subscription, you'll see that I have a license that's going to expire in 45 days. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and export my licenses. So the evaluation version that I signed up gives you 25 thin client seats and 25 Wyse software thin clients, which is those are for managing the Wyse converter for PC product, which I'll not cover today. But I'm going to go ahead and export all the licenses, and then once I have that key, I'm going to go and right click and copy that. And now I go back to the local installation that I did, and you can see there's an option where I can just paste it in here. It's that simple, and go ahead and import it. So now I have a Wyse Management Suite professional license installed on my local instance of Wyse Management Suite 1.3. I'm going to skip the email alerts for this demonstration and also skip the certificate piece. But let's go ahead and proceed to the Wyse Management Suite console. Now we're going to flip over to the screen and we're going to look at the Wyse 5030 that I'm using. I just want to show you here that I am using the 5.51 firmware. And in their configuration, if you click on Management, you can see that it's not being managed by any device at this point. So in order to get that device to be managed by my new Wyse Management Suite, I need to do a couple DNS entries. So the first one is I'm going to go in and actually do an SRV record. So I go ahead in my DNS entry and then click SRV and then create the record. And this service here, I'll blow this up so you can see it a little bit better, is the PCIP-bootstrap. And then the protocol is TCP. So again, you just put in underscore PCIP-bootstrap and underscore TCP. Use the port 5172. And then this host is just the server that I was actually installing my Wyse Management Suite. So in this case, I use demo16-wms.demo.wyse.com and click on OK. And so now I have the required SRV record. Now there is one other DNS entry that's required, and that's the SHA fingerprint for my Wyse Management Suite. So I'm going to go ahead and create a text record. This record name is going to be, again, the name of the server. So again, going back for me, it was the demo16 WMS, but yours would be the DNS name for your WMS server. And then for the text, I'm going to just put PCIP-bootstrap-cert equals. And again, I have to put that SHA32 fingerprint. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to get it, and one of these ways should work. If you look in Firefox and you go to your site, you can see there's a SHA-256 fingerprint, and I'm going to go ahead and get that and copy that. So that's just using Firefox, and I'm hitting my demo16 server, and now I have a fingerprint record in there. And again, I mentioned sometimes that this works. I'm going to show another method in case that does not work to get the fingerprint. But you can see here I've got my PCIP bootstrap certificate, and you can see that I've got my TCP record here, the SRV record. So those are the only two DNS entries that I found, again, in this simple installation. You can also use DHCP option tags. So now we're looking at the device, I can see now I've got a message. Okay, so Bootstrap failed due to certificate issue. And again, I mentioned this. I'm going to show you a second way to get the certificate if you do see this error. You can actually go into the event log on the thin client, and it'll tell you the certificate fingerprint that it's looking for. So now, as you probably know, if you've used Teradici Wyse Zero clients, you can actually just put in the IP address. So this is the IP address of my Wyse 5030, and I go ahead and just go ahead and confirm and proceed to the connection with these SSL warnings. This is your default password for your Wyse 5030, which is administrator with a capital A if you haven't changed it. And go ahead and log in. And now, under diagnostics on the device, I can actually view the event log. And by examining the event log, it should kind of stand out. You can see those two lines in the middle there. It's going to say the expected fingerprint, which is what I gave it. My Firefox method didn't work this time. But the actual thumbprint that it needs is right here. So I can go ahead and copy that. And now I've got the thumbprint from the event log on the Wyse 5030. And I'm going to go back and I'm just going to update my DNS record. So here's the, I need to find the text base, the one that says PCOIP-bootstrap cert, and paste the actual thumbprint that my event log told me. All right, now let's go ahead and go back. We reboot the device. So this is booting up my Wyse 5030. And let's just check in after I get an IP address of this device. And go ahead and we'll look under options and under management. Okay, now it does say it's managed and it's by that 192.168.02.16, which is my demo 16 server that I have in my environment. So now if I flip and I log into my WMS server, indeed I do see a device. So now I can begin to do some things under groups and configs. So you can see there's a default group policy. I'm going to go ahead and add a policy specific for this configuration. I'm going to give it a group name, and I'm just going to call it Teradici ZC for Zero Client. And then I typically will copy and paste that for the description and the group token. So now I've got a group policy, but I don't have any settings in it. So if I select it and on the right I click Edit Policies and then select Teradici, I will get a list of some of the policies. So the most important one that I typically would do would be remote connections. And you can see the connection type is a view connection server. And I'll go ahead and type in the name of my view connection server, which is demo12-view.demo.wyse.com. And I'm also going to select a few other of the advanced options. And you'll see those come into play to always connect and then auto launch if there's only one desktop. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and save and publish and click on yes here. So now I've got a policy for Teradici Zero client. Although the device, you can see, is still in the unmanaged group. So I'm going to go ahead and change his group. And I'm going to move him into the Teradici ZC group. So now he's checked in. If I go flip back to the device, I actually haven't even rebooted the device, but we should be able to see that policy apply in just a minute. Okay, there it goes. So now it's actually put the view connection server in there. It didn't auto launch because I didn't reboot the device. It just pushed them down. If we reboot again in a minute, you'll see it'll auto launch. So I haven't changed the security warnings, so it just is warning me. So let's go ahead and log in with a credential and at least see that it starts to connect to a desktop. So I log in with a basic user and I see it's authenticating, all right, and connecting to a desktop. So now if we go back to the Wyse Management Suite console, let's go ahead and click on Restart. You can see there, if I select it, there's a restart option. The command will be sent to the device, and you should see your Wyse 5030 or your 5050 or 7030 device actually begin to reboot. So now, because I have that policy applied, it should get my demo 12 view connection server, and that actually should auto connect to that. And then if I only have one device or one machine available in my group, which I do, it should auto launch. So again, continuing with the security warning right now. I'll go ahead and log in and see it automatically connected to my demo 12-view. I log in, and then you see it automatically connecting me all the way through into my desktop. So I configure that in my Horizon View policy, and this should be able to connect, and I have a PCUIP connection to my Windows 10 desktop from my Zero client. So now I flipped back over to my 2016 server, which is my demo 16, and log back in as my WMS administrator. And we look at the groups and configs, and let's go ahead. And you can see the view connection broker and see my settings, and again just by this summary view here, and you can see the name of the group. I'm going to go ahead and add another group underneath that. So this is going to be a policy that applies underneath. So we'll call it Teradici ZC_EST. And as you can imagine, we're going to set the time zone for this. So this is a policy that's nested underneath the main one. But if I put any device in this new policy, it'll inherit everything in this current policy and the policy above it, unless there's a difference, and then the lower policy would win. So now I've just went over and I'm connecting and I'm changing the time zone when this in this policy. So let's go ahead and set an NTP server. And then I'm going to set the time zone. So let's see, in the list here, I want to go to EST. Find a city in EST. Let's pick Detroit. That will work. And once I've set the time zone, I'm also going to go into my remote connections. Remember how I select these advanced options? Let's clear those options just so it'll make it easy to see that this policy is applying. So now in this policy, you'll be able to see that there's a time zone set to Eastern, and then I've removed a couple of the advanced to auto connect and to launch if there's only one desktop. Here's a view where I can see my device under device groups. You can see the policy that it's in, and this can see any specific policies that are applied to the device. Flipping back here to this device view, I'm going to go ahead and do a change group. So now I can't put it in the Teradici ZC group because that's where it is, but I'll put it in the _EST group. And then let's go ahead and restart the device from the Wyse Management Console. So I'm sending a command from here, and flipping back to my Wyse 5030, you can see it'll begin to boot up. And this time, it will get the EST time zone, and something that'll be easy for you to see. And remember, we changed the advanced settings, so now it should not connect automatically to my Horizon server. Okay, it lists it there, but I have to go ahead and click on connect. And now I'll go ahead and log in with that same user. And you can see now it didn't auto launch the desktop because I removed that option. So I do have a single Windows 10 desktop that I could connect to here, but I removed that option in my advanced section for this nested group. So again, looking back at my management console, you can see the device here. You can see some information about it. In my groups and configs, you can see the summary of the settings there. Here's some of the other settings. I'm just kind of showing the other things: language, company logo, videos. Those are the other settings that you can set. So I hope this video was a good start. I know it went fast, but I wanted to try to get through as much information I could in a relatively short video. Thank you and have a good day.